Growing up, I was never the kind of person to open up to anybody about my feelings. Whenever I was hurt or got offended, I would keep it to myself. I had no confidence in myself where I could confide in anyone fully. I know there were people in my life that would gladly listen to me and help me with what I was going through, but I just didn't want myself to seem vulnerable to others. I guess I just wanted to let others think I didn't have a difficult time handling struggles. The longer I held my emotions inside, the more it hurt. When I accepted Christ on July 4, 2008, I had to learn, and still am learning, how to trust God with all this baggage I have piled up throughout the years. I started to learn the things God promised when I entered in a relationship with Him. It was never easy for me to express how I felt towards another person after they had done something that hurt me or offended me. Even after I accepted Christ, I still had this problem, except I had a different view. I could express everything I could to God, but I wanted it to be exclusively for God only. Yeah, I told my family and some friends some things about what I was going through, but I never wanted them to be my main source of comfort. So of course, I didn't tell anybody else all the details on what I was going through except for God, or sometimes nobody at all. The two main reasons why I don't confide in others is that I don't want them to replace God, or I don't want to cry in front of them and make them think I'm weak by doing so. After having this distorted view about my relationship with God and others for so long, God finally broke through my stubbornness and began to correct me. As I began to take my walk more seriously, I started to read the Bible more. After multiple readings of the scriptures, His promises started to come more and more to life. What I did know as a believer, all of us as a whole form one body, as it says in Romans 12:5. So in Christ, we though many form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. But what I didn't know was what it said in James 5:16 and Galatians 6:2. In James, it says, "Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed." The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. In Galatians, it says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." What I had ignored from God is that He calls us to be relational beings, and He doesn't want us to handle situations on our own. In the very first book of the Bible, Genesis, it says in verse 2:18, "It is not good for the man to be alone." That's what I was missing. Relationships with other people. I was correct as in always going to God for my struggles, but I failed to see how God placed other people in my life to help me overcome them. And just after realizing what God had promised me in the book of James, in the book of Galatians, in Genesis, all the scriptures, I've been doing much better confiding in other people. I don't confide in anyone about my struggles, only a few people. But yeah, thanks to God's help, I was able to break out of an isolated life and into the life that God called me to. My name is Ronald Arallo, and I am second.